Good morning, Mr. Wynn. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great, great. And I'm really excited and would love to hear a little bit more about your programming. So thank you for allowing me to meet and to learn about the Climb program.
Mhm.
Um, can you tell me a little bit about what led to the development of Climb?
Sure. I have been involved in economic development and community leadership work for all of my career. And the first part of my career was actually with the state of Wisconsin, where I was the several positions. One was a economic development policy advisor at the state capitol in Madison, and we focused a lot on small and minority business legislation and initiatives. From there, I became the director of minority business development for the state of Wisconsin at the Department of Commerce, and we implemented some of the small and minority business loan and grant programs. Some people in Milwaukee are familiar with the revolving loan funds that the chambers operate. We were at the Department of Commerce when we had those programs created and established, and it was really good to see that they're still going today. But in that process, I began to see that there were some people that were not loan ready. Many of them just did not have the depth of understanding of their financial statements. Some of them actually had poor credit, and then many actually did not have net worth. And more distressingly, some did not understand what net worth meant. It's very crucial that our entire community understand that income and wealth are two different things, and wealth is calculated by net worth. So I began to realize that there needed to be much more in-depth financial education in order to create a new and better prepared generation of entrepreneurs than some of the ones that we were working with. And I was learning a lot myself and realized how much I did not know, and just became somewhat concerned and passionate about really trying to empower our community with knowledge, because with the knowledge, we're able to understand the economic framework better and able to leverage opportunities for our interests better when we understand that. So I then created several nonprofit organizations, all geared toward community economic empowerment. And the most recent one that I initiated is Climb USA, which was founded in 2020, where I decided that I'd like to give one last effort before I retire to see how deep we can go in providing not just financial literacy to our community, because there are now, thankfully, a number of organizations that are providing great financial literacy education, and the Milwaukee Public Schools are now in a process of rolling out a personal finance curriculum throughout many of the high schools in Milwaukee. But that area of investment education is still taking a back seat, and so is basic economics. So Klein USA is really focusing on those things, and we're trying to work collaboratively with other organizations that are providing other topics in financial literacy. But Klein, by virtue of its name and mission, stands for communities learning to invest and mobilize for business. We've actually have a cornerstone program that is our investment club initiative, which we refer to as community-based investment enterprises, because we want more and more people, community leaders, policymakers, corporate executives, to understand that as we're trying to build communities, we've had a missing link in the stepping stone process that it takes to go from poverty or lack of wealth in order to engage in wealth building activities. When we say wealth building activities, we're talking about owning real estate, including owning your home and not being a lifelong renter. Also, having assets to start a business. And as most people know, you start a business with your own money, or at least friends and relatives. And then owning investments such as stocks and bonds. And owning stocks and bonds is the most accessible. Even young people can own that. So why not plant those seeds early and get young people and young adults started on their mission so that they can replicate some of the early community-based investment enterprise startups that we now can use as case studies. One in Madison, Wisconsin that I started in 1987 has peaked at over $900,000. And then our family club with my personal family got started 23 years ago and has over, we just checked the account yesterday and it went from 180 something to 190,000 because it had a pretty good day the other day. And that's after 70,000 has been taken out for what we call next level economic development activities. Two family members took out $25,000 each in order to get in order to get housing for themselves. Gentleman's calling me from overseas right now on my phone. That's what threw me off a little bit. I'm going to stick with you though.
Okay,
And
great.
and then some other people use those funds for starting a small business, and then another because they were ready for retirement, wanted to de-risk their retirement. He's still calling. I'm just going to tell him 1 second. And so that's a long-winded answer about how and why we got started and a little bit about our vision. We think that if we can plant these seed capital structures of investment enterprises, we can help more people to learn about the capital markets process and then be ready for next level economic development with much more knowledge as well as money in their pockets from having invested. And the model is you're just really putting in $25 per month over an extended period of time. So what the solutions that we are bringing are not short-term solutions. They are very much long-term solutions, but make a difference over time.
Okay, so you have an office that's located in Madison, and do you have other offices in other cities?
Right now, our focus is in the state of Wisconsin, and so we are based in Madison, and we have a satellite location in Milwaukee at the Brick Building, which is owned by one of our friends and associates. And we just hold meetings there from time to time, but we mainly operate our corporate offices out of Madison.
Okay, what is that address in Milwaukee?
It's 2741 West Fond du Lac Avenue.
Okay, great. So it's accessible for sure. So you've kind of explained what the programming looks like. I'm really excited about everything that you're doing, and I've learned a lot in a short period of time just from listening. What I did discover through some of my research is that you have an online cohort training session that's on, I guess it's scheduled for June 10th. How does one become part of that cohort, and how is that training outlined?
Sure. So basically, we have three main programs: the Summer Stock Market Experience, and then we have our Climb Youth Leaders Program that meets during the school year. And then we have our community-based investment enterprise business startup program. And the cohort training that you saw on June 10th is specific to that latter program, the community-based investment enterprise program. There are some steps that are required to get the investment enterprise started because it is a real business. And so it has to be incorporated, and you have different corporate assets that you have to put into place, like your bank account, your brokerage account, and get accounting systems set up and things. So that's the cohort training. And the one that's on that website, June 10th, is actually the conclusion of our second cohort of community-based investment enterprise startup trainees. We're going to have another cohort that will launch in the fall, and we'll probably have a few informational open houses about that during this coming summer. But the one that we're really interested in, as many people in Milwaukee as possible participating in, is our one that's coming up for the summer. And that's actually our summer stock market experience program. We think that that's where we want to lead before people actually start investing for real, if they are beginners, to get onto our simulated investment platform and just really get the juices flowing as far as making decisions about what stocks you want to buy, learn a little bit about analysis, hear from some of our experts that are going to be speaking virtually throughout the summer. It's a really fun program. This will be our fourth summer. And this year, because we've learned so many adults are still learning about investing, we decided to go on and have an official adult division along with our traditional youth division. So adults and youth, any age is welcome onto the platform. And you just simply register on the stock market experience page of the website, which is www.climbUSA.org. And registration is open now. This is a free program. In fact, we're going to be awarding over $7,500 in cash prizes for the ones who participate most successfully and build their portfolios together. And while each registrant is going to be awarded their own fictitious $100,000 to invest over the summer, we can also have team winners. So if groups or families want to register together, then they should come up with their team name before they go to the registration page. So when each one puts in their registration information, they can also put in their team name so that their names will be grouped for purposes of the portfolio analysis for team competition. So everybody will compete as individuals, but those who put in a team name will also compete as a team as well. So there could be multiple ways to win and place and make some money along the way. This program is embellished in several ways. One is that once a person registers and we're ready to start the program, everyone would first take a brief pre-test just so we can see what their knowledge base is, and then compare that at the end with the post-test to determine, if they learned anything. I've actually said in a couple of emails that if people register and participate fully, they will learn. And I said, I guarantee it. But also, once the pretest is taken, then a video curriculum library opens up to the members, and then the participants can sort of like go through a self-paced learning process using those video curriculums and articles for learning more in depth. Then we added a Tuesday speaker series during the summer. It'll start June 13th because it's good to hear from people who are in the industry and have some live events where people can ask questions about different topics. I happen to be working on the speaker series right now, and some of the topics that are coming up are understanding the capital markets, the magic of compounding, doing stock research, explaining stocks and bonds, professional opportunities in the financial services industry, socially responsible investing. So there's just a range of things that people will be learning as they participate in this program. So we are really hoping that Milwaukee will be ground zero for the start of what we do hope will be a movement, and that we will eventually have offices in other locations as we're bringing in more people from the community to learn how to invest and be able to build capital for themselves, their households, as well as for future generations. In essence, our passion is to level the playing field when it comes to being able to build wealth. We think that one of the most unjust things that is happening in our country today is that some people emerge into adulthood and they do know how to invest, and then others go into adulthood and they can work very hard all their lives, but if they don't learn how to invest, they are not going to be as financially well off and secure in their households as those who have learned. So we wanted to create this very free and accessible platform so that people now have an opportunity, and we want the schools to do more, but we don't have to wait on the schools or others from outside our community to educate us in this area because it's too important to leave to anyone else. So we want to be a community-driven source of education. And we do hope that this aligns with some of the other community empowerment efforts that are underway. And that would include things like the My Brother's Keeper and so many initiatives that the City of Milwaukee Economic Development organizations have, the chambers. We would like everyone to join in to bring all of our community forward in knowing how to build wealth using the capital market system. That's what it's there for. And if we're not engaged with it and using it, then we're in some ways our own worst enemy because it's there for everybody to participate.
Wow. I'm really excited about the partnership that you have with Alum and with My Brother's Keeper. I'm just in awe of the thoroughness and just really captivated by everything that you're doing to build up the community. So I thank you for that. I wanted to ask you two more questions.
Sure.
Volunteers play a big part in helping to pull off your big events such as this. Is there kind of a process for garnering some assistance or help?
So anyone who wants to volunteer can definitely contact me directly. My email is Wynn, W-Y-N-N, WYNN@climbusa.org. The most that we need right now is to make the most of our registration period. That is from now till June 9th. And anyone who wants to help this process of bringing investment education to communities should simply get the website in front of as many people as possible and ask them to register and be part of this movement to educate all of us. Then for those people who are in the finance world or even in the corporate world, we would love to hear from them. If they want to be a resource for one of the teams or some of the young people that we're working with, or be part of our speakers bureau for the fall, we've pretty much got it lined up for the summer, but we're always looking for expert, diverse people to share their knowledge with the next generation. So those are some of the ways that people can volunteer right now. Mainly, the main thing is just getting more people onto the platform to be part of the learning community. As I'm speaking here, I'm also reminded that I have spoken to some people about forming a Milwaukee-specific task force for really helping to promote and market our program in a more organized fashion. So that's something I may want to talk with you and the colleagues at ALUM about, because we did have a very nice conversation with the superintendent's office of Milwaukee Public Schools, and they are very open to trying to figure out ways to be supportive to us. And I think if we can bring more community volunteers in an organized way to help reach MPS teachers, students, and parents, I think that would just be good for all concerned.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited and I want to see this momentum, keep going, a wave or whatever. So another question. If individuals or organizations are interested in supporting Climb through donations, what is that process?
Well, we welcome that wholeheartedly. And right on our website, there's a donate button. And there is a small video that showcases some of the Climb youth leaders who are just explaining a little bit about what our organization is all about. And at the very bottom of our homepage, www.climbusa.org, there is the address, and our corporate address is in Madison. So anyone can just send a check right there, or on the donate button on the website, you can also donate by credit card if you like as well. those are some of the ways that people can help. And we definitely, would welcome donations or sponsorships. We would be happy to talk with anyone about those things.
Wow. I've really enjoyed listening to you and seeing how clear your vision has been, the work that you've done in the past to kind of support and uplift folks.
Thank you.
That's just really great. Is there anything that you'd like to add in closing? Any closing remarks or things that maybe I didn't think to ask?
No, you're a great interviewer, and I've enjoyed the questions, and I really appreciate that the way that you've listened. The only thing I think I would say two things. One is our mantra that we want everybody to embrace is that we want our young people to know how to buy Nike stock just as easily as they know how to buy Nike shoes. So that's our big audacious vision. And everyone is doing a lot in the community, but I would like to see more of a sense of urgency when it comes to economic education and empowerment. It's going to take a little bit of a reversal of some of our cultural norms to work in this idea of saving and building wealth in accounts that nobody can see compared to, the more visual consumer products that some of our community has been focused on. Spoken by a person whose car is 18 years old.
And see, I'm one of those folks that buy a car every 3 years. Let me ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
How old is too old to start investing?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, how old are you?
No, because I don't want you to ask me.
All right. No, basically, that's a great question. You're never too old to invest. I mean, I just was looking at social media about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is at least 88, if not 90 years old. His comrade who works with him, Charlie Munger, I believe is about 95 or 96. They are still investing to the point that Warren, this is what was on, you can Google it because it's in social media these days. Warren Buffett is due to make $6 billion with a B in dividend income off of his investments in the year 2023. And so one, don't want to go crazy if you're older and you're going to be relying on your savings for your retirement. So it might mean that you're investing in solid blue chip companies that do pay a dividend or banks, and that you are putting money in the market that you can risk it going down or possibly losing, because the difference between saving and investing is that saving is more safe, but it does not yield as much of a return. Investing is more risky, but people do it because there is a potential for a greater return. So you always have to weigh your risk tolerance and where you're at in your life cycle. But as long as you are living and breathing and are going to need money to live and go into the future, investing can be a source to help you augment whatever you have saved up to this point. But again, in our community, let's be sequential. And that by that, I mean, do things in the proper order. Learn first and then start investing. But don't rush out and say, oh, I need to just start buying stuff right now, and you don't learn. So that's why we're really trying to create this wide funnel of bringing as many people into the simulated investing, our summer stock market experience, as we possibly can, because that's where you just start learning, and you can make mistakes, but it doesn't cost you anything if you make mistakes. And then after that experience, if you think that you have the interest and commitment, then we have programs that will work with young people as well as adults to bring them along. And that's why we promote the investment club methodology, because I always describe it as learning to invest with training wheels on. You're just putting in a small amount of money and you're learning as you go. And once you understand some basics, we can have a whole nother conversation and talk about some of those basics, because I can speak clearly about them too.
Right.
Basically, you can then sort of step it up once you get more confidence and knowledge about investing. So just ease into it gradually. And we welcome people to start with our simulated program by registering by June 9th.
Okay, great. You've given us a slew of information to think about, a lot of things to kind of help us to start planning. This Climb stock market experience sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
What I'm going to do now, I'm hoping to be able to interview with you again in the future, maybe
Yes.
on specific topics, maybe as you're going through the stock exchange, stock market experience, maybe we can do something weekly, as those
Oh,
weeks
that would be
end to
fun. I'd
give
like to
people
do
an
that.
idea. Right. So let's kind of talk a little bit more, but I
Yeah.
thank you for your time today.
Can I say
And
two quick things? And then,
oh, absolutely.
oh, I appreciate it, because we're not heavy on social media, but on Facebook and LinkedIn, we are at Climb USA. And on Instagram, we are at Climb Wave USA. And that's important to know. And then with the interviews you do, how do people access the content of these interviews?
Well, right now we're processing them on Alum,
Okay.
on Pastor Lanier's personal page and my personal page.
Nice.
There's a possibility that it may be entered onto our web page as well for Alum.
Okay.
But I do see lots of different partnerships that can spawn from this programming. I'm thinking of people myself that I would love to have participate with you. So let's talk again.
Okay.
And we have one another's contact, and we will continue to move forward. Best of success to you. And again, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, and I thank you very much. This has been wonderful, and please give my regards to everyone at Alum.
Okay, so I'm going to put this on pause now. And if you have any other questions, we can talk there.